This is the HaltingWinter Podcast. I'm your host, Seth Winterhalter. HaltingWinter exists to help people and organizations overcome obstacles, to break through barriers, and to operate at peak performance. We want to help you personally. We want to help you organizationally to do that. Are you operating at peak performance today? If not, give us a call. Set up an assessment call. Let us help you see where you are personally and where you are in your corporation, in your business, in your organization to help you thrive in all components. I want to talk today about celebration. It's December. The end of the year, for some organizations, it's the end of their fiscal year. For some, it's just the end of their calendar year. They have a different fiscal calendar. But no matter what, it's because culturally, there's the word I'm looking for, because culturally it's a period, it's a time, it's a month of celebration. I want you to think about that, especially if you're the leader of an organization or even just leading yourself. I want you to think about celebration, things to celebrate. Now's a great time because culturally we're in this kind of season of celebration. With Thanksgiving, with being thankful, being grateful, and then Christmas, just kind of that gift giving, that celebration time. I want you to make sure that you're taking time to celebrate three things. I want you to celebrate, number one, your people. So if you are the leader or on the leadership team of an organization, be very intentional about celebrating your people. And not only at December, but I think these are things to do throughout the year, but especially now, because we're in this season culturally, now is a great time to highlight your people, highlight their contributions to the team, highlight their contributions to the mission, highlight who they are and what they do. Make much of them. People want, above all, above paycheck, above benefits, they want worth and value. The humanity desires more than anything else to have worth and value, to know that they have a purpose, to have an identity that is positive and not negative. And so when you celebrate your people, you encourage and remind them of their worth and value. So I want you to be very mindful of this time. How are you celebrating your people? Number one. Number two, how are you celebrating your wins? What have you accomplished this year? And not just the big things, but maybe even just culturally. If you have a mission statement, if you have a mission that you are a mission statement that is actually you are aiming to achieve that, what are the wins along the way? Maybe you haven't achieved the mission yet. Maybe the big mission hasn't been achieved, but this is why it's important to have markers along the way so that you can celebrate that. What have you achieved so far? And not just on your mission, but even in your culture. What are some things that you can celebrate that maybe if you have a thriving culture that you can celebrate that culture is thriving, or maybe if your culture wasn't thriving, and maybe that's been an endeavor that you've tried to do. Especially, I know a lot of businesses coming out of COVID, just everything's changed. They've got still people working remotely. They've got they've had to really reset the dynamic of the workplace and be mindful of just kind of some different realities there. And so what can you celebrate that maybe is people returning to the office and returning to a culture? What about the culture have you been specific about changing and developing and making for the better? What can you celebrate there? There's all kinds of things, if you'll look and take the time, I think things that you can celebrate. And if you're the leader of the organization, this is really your prime job, is to, part of creating a healthy, vibrant culture in your organization is celebrating the wins that make that organization what you're trying to make it, right? If you're the CEO, if you're on the executive team, part of your job is the culture, right? You will not accomplish the mission unless you have a healthy, thriving culture. So many organizations, I think, create a mission, and the mission is we're going to sell this much, or we're going to do this much, and then they only celebrate the wins that are tied to that mission. Well, we hit our goals this year for sales. We hit our goals this quarter for sales. Yes, we're going towards the mission. But here's the thing: it takes a culture to reach that, and your culture, you may reach your goals and find that your culture is toxic. You might find that your salespeople are fighting each other to try to get sales for themselves individually. You may find that, right, there's just things going that are going to destroy your organization because your company is so toxic. But because you didn't care about the culture, because you didn't celebrate the wins that created a healthy, thriving culture, because you didn't put those on the, you didn't celebrate those and put those, what's the word I'm looking for? You didn't highlight those, right? You didn't put those up on the pedestal to say, this is what's important. This is what is rewarded. Because you didn't do that, your culture became just whatever led to the results, just whatever led to more sales. And I'm telling you that can get real toxic real soon. And all of a sudden, people are jumping ship. No one wants to be a part. Everyone is looking to flee the ship because it's filled with rats. And so celebrate the wins that you want to build, not only with the mission, but with the culture that's leading towards that mission, if that makes sense. So celebrate your people and what they're doing, how they are unique, what they're contributing to the team, specifically not just with the results, but with culture. And celebrate your wins. What can you celebrate as far as where you're heading for the mission, but what also the culture is leading to that mission, the culture that you want to create and foster in light of who your business is and how you interact. So celebrate your people, celebrate your wins, and celebrate your purpose. This has to do with the mission, but it also is bigger. Maybe this is what kind of I've been saying the whole time with this is your purpose, right? What's the vision for the organization? What are you doing? Why do you exist? You don't exist just to make sales. You exist, right, to give some kind of benefit to the world. And so like if you're Amazon, right, you bring things to people quickly. You bring things to people that give them pleasure, that give them purpose, right? I always used to tell, we had some people work for the Amazon warehouse. When I was pastoring a church, people worked for the Amazon warehouse. And I remember someone came up to me and said, well, I'm just a warehouse worker for Amazon, right? I just what kind of purpose is there in this? And I looked at them and I said, do you know that every week I order books from Amazon? Every week I may order books to help me prepare for the sermon. I may order books to help develop people as I'm developing leaders. I may order books to help me personally. I order books for counseling sessions. I order books every week from Amazon. And because people in their warehouse pack them up and send them to me, I'm able to do my job. And I said, you are contributing to that effect. You're helping me minister. You're helping me help people. And it was just like they never thought about it that way, right? And so I want to encourage you, maybe your job you've just never thought about, we just make plastic parts well, think about how are those plastic parts being used? How are they making the world a better place, a safer place, a more thriving place? How are you bringing joy to people? How are you being a help to people? You may not see that tangibly in your specific job. There might not be a direct correlation, but there is a connection. And so how can you celebrate your purpose? And so for some of you, this is really easy. You see firsthand the results that you. So for me, right, I'm a coach, I'm a consultant. I see firsthand when I consult a business and when they put into action, when they put into effect the things that we're working on, and they scale their business 5 times, that's easy to see. It's like, wow, that's amazing. We can celebrate this. When I coach a client and they lose 50 pounds, they get physically fit, they're no longer having joint pain. They're able to be active in life again with their spouse and their family. They're able to get down on the floor with their grandkids and play and not have any fear of getting back up. Man, those are direct wins that I can see. And so maybe your job, it's easier to see, it's easier to celebrate your purpose because you see the direct results. But some of you, maybe you got to dig a little bit, right? And this is why it's good to get customer feedback. When you work with customers, it's good to, have some kind of measurable way to get feedback to say, man, how was it working with us? How are you using what we're able to provide to help you? How has that helped you? How has that encouraged you? How has that served you? And so you're getting tangible feedback from the people that you're working with, the people that you're serving. So you're able to tell those stories. You're able to celebrate those wins with your people. So I want to just encourage you as you're leading an organization, if you're leading yourself, right? How can you celebrate yourself? What are you doing that's a win? What are the wins that you're accomplishing? What is the purpose? What is the meaning of your life? How are you giving back? How are you serving? How are you impacting the world around you? Think about that for yourself. Think about that for the organization that you lead, and make sure that you're celebrating that. Make sure that you are allowing the people that are around you, serving from the highest positions to the lowest positions, because everyone's needed, right? Everyone is needed. And it's always interesting. I'm doing some executive coaching with a client, and, we came out of COVID, and what's interesting is all the bigwigs, right, for his organization are working from home during COVID. They're able to kind of have a lot more relaxation, while the frontline workers, kind of the lowest people on the totem pole, they're the ones grinding it out, making sure that the organization actually still is effective, still is functioning. And so it is interesting sometimes that it is really the people that we would see on the lowest part of the totem pole that actually make a lot of the work happen. And I think that those people need to be encouraged. They need to be inspired. They need to know that maybe on the org chart that it looks low, but low does not mean low in worth and value. They play a significant role. They play a significant part, and they're really the heroes of the organization. And so are you celebrating that? Do they know that? How can you be creative in the way that you celebrate your people? That you make much of the real wins, not only the wins when you have big sales and when you accomplish big things that help move the mission forward, but when you have the wins of culture. How can you celebrate the things that are making a vibrant, healthy work culture instead of making one that's toxic? And how can you celebrate the mission, your vision, helping people understand why they're a part of your organization for the long haul, right? We're not just here to meet a sales goal for the year. We're here to do this bigger thing. We're here to bring this kind of impact to the world around us. So, hope that encourages you. I hope you have a good December, being creative in how you celebrate your people and your wins and your purpose. I hope that you take time to really be thankful and grateful for the organization that you're a part of and the person that you are, because you are important. You are special in the way that there's no one else like you, right? You are a unique individual, and we need your unique individual gifts and talents and abilities to make the world a better place. And so I want to encourage you, inspire you to be better, to operate at peak performance, because there is where you will thrive, and that's where you'll have the most significant impact on the world around us and the people that you engage with day by day. And until we chat next time, I hope that you celebrate well this year. Thanks.